Now, we all know that airline travel is a chore. I know it probably better than you because I'm on planes 4 or 5 days a week most weeks. There's the parking, the TSA lines, and aisles in the plane so narrow that even a Republican and Democrat have to work together just to get on the flight. And the list goes on. Is there really anything that could make the whole experience worse? Well, how about a cargo hold emitting a smell that had passengers asking, what died on this plane? Passengers on a scheduled flight to Jakarta were overwhelmed by a stench that can only be described as a cocktail of garlic, Limburger cheese, and a splash of dirty gem socks. Ugh. Our audience is just gasping. What was the culprit? Durian, the undisputed champion of the stinkiest fruit on earth. The Indonesian airliner had several thousand pounds of the thorny fruit in its cargo hold. Apparently, durian is an acquired taste. That's an understatement. But it sounds more like an exotic disease that you come down with to me. In fact, the late Anthony Bourdain once said of the after effects of eating durian that it left a smell like you've been French kissing your dead grandmother. Ugh. I don't even want to say that ever again. Let those words never come out of my mouth again. The odor on the plane was so horribly pungent that protesting passengers almost came to blows with the flight attendants. Wonder if they were going to serve it as an in-flight snack along with a gas mask. Well, passenger Amir Zidane eventually helped save the day by leading everyone on board in a chant, "Who on this plane wants to fly?" which was answered with a resounding, "Not us," by all the passengers. The airline capitulated and the flight was delayed over an hour as they deboarded the passengers and removed the offending fruit. Now, the moral of the story, friends, don't count your durian before they're hatched. Did you get that? The fruit was kept behind the hatch that leads to the cargo hold. Okay, so that joke stinks. I got it. Turning to other aeronautic antics, an American Airlines baggage handler accidentally fell asleep in the cargo hold of a plane, and he flew from Kansas City to Chicago. The male employee was working on an American Airlines plane when he fell asleep in the forward hold of the aircraft. American Airlines stated, quote, "The flight subsequently took off with the team member in the cargo hold, which was heated and pressurized," end quote. Sounds like this fellow may have created yet another ticket level for the airlines, ultra economy. That's where you can't check a bag because you are the bag. Of course, how many people can meet the 50-pound and 62-inch restrictions to qualify for such a ticket? So when the flight landed at Chicago O'Hare, the employee was discovered by baggage handlers there. Now, since he didn't have a bag tag on, the man rode around the baggage carousel for almost 45 minutes. Okay, so that part we made up. The employee allegedly told Chicago police that he had consumed several alcoholic beverages. You think? He most likely will not be paid for his 1-hour airborne nap, and his return trip to Kansas City was apparently by way of UPS ground service. So what can Brown do for you? Keep this guy off our planes, for one thing. And by the way, in a related incident, would-be imbibing passengers on the plane were disappointed when flight attendants announced that there would be no alcoholic beverage service on the flight as all the liquor had already been consumed. Now, from our Wild World of Animals file, it looks like the people of Luxembourg need to send their felines back to mousing school. A gentleman captured the footage of a cat in one town that tried to do its duty only to turn tail and flee one of the rodents that it was supposed to eliminate. The scaredy cat turned tail and fled away. The emboldened rat was in hot pursuit. Now, Luxembourg is the least likely place in the world to be shot. But who would have thought of this kind of rat-a-tat-tat? Oh, they're turning on me again, Keith. They are. But hey, at least Luxembourgers love to hop, and they do so at an annual ceremony in honor of Saint Willibord. Now, this has nothing to do with the story, but I find the tradition a little fascinating. But if anyone wants to clear their neighborhood of loud and unruly cats, Luxembourg rodents, they're the baddest in the land. Get you one. All right, well, America's not the only country watching The Walking Dead. Over in Kazakhstan, a man who had been dead and buried for 2 months showed up at his family's house. Mr. Igali Sup Agaliv was pronounced dead after his badly burned remains were proved to be him by some DNA test. Local authorities issued his death certificate, and they buried him in the town of Tumarli, which is his hometown. His family members said, "We held awake and we shared tea and sympathy. So when Uncle Agali came walking through the door, family members nearly died themselves from shock." Well, apparently, when Igali left home one morning, he was offered work in a nearby village, and he thought, why not? And he headed off to the job. When the work was finished, 4 months later, he headed back home. So what can we learn from this story? Well, perhaps an Igali in the village is worth 2 in the bush, or 1 in the ground. And we also learn actions speak louder than words, especially when people think you're dead. And here's something else we learned, maybe the most important. Get the unlimited plan and call or text home next time when you're going to take a 4-month job. And as we love to remind you, we read the news,